Hey there folks, thanks for tuning in to another brand new video. I am doing a quick update and comparison on the Mattel The Child 11-inch plush doll or figure, however you want to classify it, or in other words, the Mattel Baby Yoda plush that has been coming to your doorsteps or local stores in the past couple of weeks. The one you see on the left right here is the one I received first from Shop Disney. I had pre-ordered that the same time as the one I did from Target, which is the one on the right, and the Shop Disney arrived last week when you did see the review, my first review about it, and there were never any delays. The Target one had delays back and forth. First they said it would come in May and then pushed up to April, then back to May, then various dates in April, and it just got delivered today. I immediately wanted to check the color differences because there were people on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, across social media talking about the different color variants that are coming with Baby Yoda, and they have not spoken about all of the differences. They've only talked about the actual skin tone being a little bit lighter or darker, and I actually noticed quite a few differences, so let's go ahead and point them out. Really quick, everything about the Target packaging is the same except for one thing I did notice. Here, which it was already cut, I'm not sure if maybe I cut it when I was opening the box or it somehow snapped while being packaged, but this one was wrapped around the neck. And as you can see, there are two holes here, which I still have the Shop Disney version. There were also two holes here. The only difference is the Disney version had two individual wires attached to the arms. So the arms were actually attached to the packaging, whereas on this one, the Target version, this wire was around the neck. Not a big difference, but it's still something interesting to note that even in everything about the packaging being the same, the way they actually tied it down was a little bit different. So let's go ahead and take this one out. As you can see, they are pretty much twins. They are pretty much identical, nothing too different. The hands are the same, nothing going on there. What you do see the difference in is the actual paint application. So first, let's go ahead and point out the skin tone, and hopefully the lighting can pick it up. I just have my natural light coming in from my balcony door and in my lights from my kitchen and living room. You can somewhat tell from the picture. Of course, in person, you can see it a lot better, but the one from Shop Disney has more of a pale and almost a dry looking green color to the skin, whereas the Target version has more of that darker and more matte color, which I think this is more closely represented to not only Yoda in general, but the Baby Yoda, the child that we do see in the Mandalorian. So right away, I do like the skin tone on the Target version. Again, why there's a difference, my only assumption can be that they are coming from either different manufacturing plants or different painters, or even then, if they are assembled by machines, I still don't see why that would happen. Regardless, there are some differences that you want to look out for. Another thing I immediately noticed too, which again might be a little bit difficult to tell from the film or from the video, so hopefully you can see it well enough. The actual clothing is darker on this Target version. And I know the lighting may be a little bit more strong here, so let me just flip it and see if we can get a better look at it from there. And even then, I think you can tell more so here. Actually everything, even the fluffy, fuzzy part and the robe part is all darker. Again, why there's a difference, I can't say. And I'm actually quite surprised that it's such a big difference in this specific region, because you would think all of the cloth and clothing fabrics would come from the same place and they would all be essentially pre-colored or pre-dyed to being assembled. But right away, that is a difference too that you do notice. As for the hands, you do also see some differences in the hands. And here again, it is that darker, more greenish look, where here it's more of a pale, light, dry looking green look. And again, because I did switch them, this is the Target version and this is the Shop Disney version. Another thing I noticed in the ears, this one is more of a brownish, hazy look, where here it's got more of a little bit of a subtle pink and maybe some purplish blending in with the green. But again, with the darker green skin tone, the Target version looks a lot better than the Disney version. And hopefully I can get these two in the same picture. And one thing I immediately noticed, which is something I pointed out when I first reviewed the Shop Disney version, was how the pink and purplish it was around the eyes and the lips and the cheeks. So as you can see, you can really see a lot of pinkish and purple around the lips, the heaviness on the cheeks right there, and then on the top eyelids and the bottom eyelids as well. So if you can see that all around there. Now coming to the Target version, of course, because the skin tone is a darker green, not only does it not stand out as much, but you can still tell it's a lighter shade on the cheeks. It's just slightly on the lips right there, and even on the eyelids, it's just ever so slightly that it won't overpower the actual green color, and it blends a lot more nicer and looks more natural here. So let me try to give them in the same shot here, and maybe just side by side. So here you can see how much pinker it is here and there. My only guess is the Shop Disney version could not have been finished maybe on a second coat for the actual green. So maybe if they were to spray it more or just color it more, the pink would be more drowned out. But again, I can't really say. I can't say at all unless Mattel or someone gives an official statement. The other part that we did notice that some people were mentioning were the actual wrinkles on the forehead. And I'd say, yeah, again, it is more prominent on the Disney version because, again, everything is lighter. And they are slightly different streaks too. If you can see that here, we have a little blob of the gray here where everything here is a little bit more in unison and in parallel lines. But yeah, you can definitely see it's a little bit more natural on this one, where here it looks almost bony given this lighter shade of the skin tone. And I think, just about those colors. And here, I'll just give a shot of the back too to show the difference. Everything else is pretty much the same weight, the same function. The fabric does feel all the same. It's not that one is softer than the other, one is a little bit thicker. Everything there is the same. It's just, again, the three major components are the skin tone, the pink around the eyes, lips, and ears, and then the fabric color. Those are your differences. At first, I was completely fine with this, even though I did mention those slight issues around the eyes and the lips and cheeks. But now, after seeing both of them in person, in hand, I definitely prefer the more natural looking, darker green, more subtle pink and purple colors, and even the darker fabrics, because I think this one matches more so what we see in the show, where this one is, I don't want to say a cheap knockoff looking version, but you won't even think these are both from Mattel. When you have them side by side, you will actually think this is a cheaper knockoff version, because for those of you that may have collected or seen the knockoff Black Series figures or the knockoff NECA Predator figures or just any NECA figure, everything can look the same. There might just be subtle differences in the paint, or maybe a weapon is different, or articulation isn't as well. This seems like the knockoff version of the Mattel Baby Yoda. There we have it, folks. I know I mentioned in the last video if you want to leave comments down below, but YouTube does flag these videos as made for children, so they do automatically turn off the comments. If you have any questions or comments, though, feel free to reach out to me on social media, either on Instagram, Facebook, or shoot me an email. Thank you again for watching, and like I said, let me know if you have any questions about it, and be on the lookout for which variant you do obtain. Again, this is the Target version, this was the Shop Disney version, and thank you again for watching.